This is the employee training for AMR's Telestaff, which is a scheduling program. Telestaff can be launched from any internet browser. You need to open up an internet link. You can get this from your iPhone, your iPad, the public library, Med's laptop, any internet access you can go to. You would go up into the top, into the address bar, and you would type in scheduling.emsc.net. Once you go into scheduling.emsc.net, you will get the login for Kronos Telestaff. You will not click on this classic sign-in. It will take you to a completely different database. You should use this one that pops up, the default. Your username will be added in here that you will get from the portal. I'm using just a default internet person. The password is whatever you have set with the internet through the portal. Your access code, which is very important, that takes us to AMR's database, is 2888. Once you click this, you will go ahead and you will sign in. Once you sign in, it will take you to your access of Telestaff. We'll show your name up here at the top. I'm using a person named Paul Paramedic. If you have any changes in your schedule, you will be taken to the contact logs, and it will show all the different schedule changes that you may have. We'll talk about these in just a moment. If you have no changes in your schedule, it will take you to the calendar. When your calendar pops up, depending on if you're full-time or part-time, you'll see several different things. On the calendar, it will show you your regular shifts if you're full-time, or any extra shifts that you may have been awarded. All right? I'm going to go ahead and change my date that I'm going to look at. I want to look at a January 2014 and see what's available for me to work on. So you can use the buttons to the right. The green button, the green arrow, will go month by month. To get you to January. Once we get into January, these blocks, these dark blue boxes on each of the calendar dates, if you hover over it, this is a full-time person's assignment for these days. So on the 5th of January, this person is going to be scheduled for a 12-hour, starting at 8 a.m., going to 8 p.m. Same on the 6th, same on the 7th. Any vacancies will be showed with a V. There's a vacancy this day. Again, you can look at this. There's 2 vacancies. Hover over here, there's 2. All right. Other things that we see on this person's calendar are these light green boxes, which are available. This person has put in that they're available for a certain position. So they're available for this position, which is 973B. This person has also put themselves available on the 3rd, not in a position, but any hours. They're available for 10 hours this day, again, hovering over it. So available from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. All right. On the 6th, every Monday about 10 p.m., the PTO balance, your paid time off balance, will come over from Kronos. It will be loaded on every Monday so that you have an idea of how much your PTO is at that particular day. All right. This is a shift trade off for 12 hours. Notice the note that he's added in is that he's going to be trading with Gabbert. This is a shift trade working that shows the shift that he's going to be working. Notice that there is an asterisk in front of both of these codes, the shift trade off and the shift trade working. This means it's still in the request mode. It has not been added by the scheduler, has not been approved and been added to the roster. So these are still in the pending mode. All right. We also see down on the next line in the calendar, this is a PTO that's going to be paid. It's a pink color. This person is going to be paid 12 hours for PTO. This is a PTO request. The employee has requested the 14th off, and again, it has an asterisk in front of it so that this is a request. This has not been approved, so this person still should show up to work until this changes over to a pink PTO code. On the 15th, this is a PTO where the person has found coverage. PTO found coverage, so this is a paid giveaway. This is a giveaway, and you have to take PTO for it. This is what's going to show. Again, you hover over it, and it will show that he gave the shift to Gavin. All right, so let's see how we add some of these shifts in. So any of the days that have the V's marked on it as vacancies, you can go up to the gray bar or the little note that shows over here and click on that bar, and you're going to go to add. This is how you will add any of these codes, or what we call Skittles, that are showed on the calendar. All right, the add box will open up. When the add box opens up, it will have a drop-down box for the work code. When the work code opens up, you will see that you have several different choices. You have the available, you have the PTO, you found your coverage, you have a PTO request, you have a giveaway, and you have trade-off. All right? Whether it's a trade-off one day for another day, or a trade-off on the same day if you wanted to swap shifts on the same day with someone else. All right? So you can do this all from the same box, the same exact way. So for available, we're going to click available. All right? What time are we going to be available for? It defaults midnight to midnight. So if you only want to work any shifts that start between 8 a.m. and run for a duration of maybe 12 hours, you will be brought into the system as available for just these 12 hours. A shift that starts at 7 a.m. you will not be able or will not qualify for, or a shift that is scheduled to end after 8 p.m. you will not be brought into the system or available for. So this is, you are only available between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. All right? Now it's going to ask you for a detail code. At this point, if you click on the box and check for issues, it's going to ask you for a detail code. Down here in this issue box, a detail code should be entered, typed in, right next to the available code. So since we are doing just that we're available for the hours, we're going to type in the word hours. Once we click on the check for issues, when we check for issues, the box is going to come back, and if there's anything that you're already working or you're not available to put the time in, then it will tell you down here in the bottom in this issues box. Once it comes back and it's green, it's good to go, we're going to hit save. Once we save this, it's going to place a light green available code on your calendar, and that you're available for these 12 hours. All right? Now on the 4th, if you're available and you want to work a position, same way, we would click on the gray bar. We would hit add. The add box pops open. And this time, we're going to use this where box. We're going to hit the drop down, and we're going to select which shift we would like to work. We're going to hit the 973B, and it will automatically default to the time of that rotation for this day. Again, you need to add a detail code, and that's just adding in the 973B. So the shift name needs to go in there from this where box. So just the 973B. Again, we'll come down, check for issues, When we check for issues, it's looking to make sure you can go ahead and put your availability in for this day. It comes back green. We're going to select Save. Once we select Save, then on our calendar, we will have a box that is added in that now we have placed ourselves available and available only for 973B. So there's two different ways we're adding your availability, by hours or adding in for position. All right, so the next couple of things that we're going to add in, again, we could add for a shift trade off. On the other side, if you are trading the day off, you need to make sure that you contact the person that is going to be trading with you, and both people need to complete a computer entry. So on this day, Mr. Paul Paramedic turned in his shift trade off. All right, so on the 8th, this person in which he was trading off with, Mr. Gabbert, completed his trade-off, and now it's placed this skittle, this shift trade working, on Paul's calendar. Again, with the asterisk, it has not been approved by a scheduler. All right, so let's do the same thing on the 21st. The 21st, Paul would like to have off. We're going to click the bar, go to Add. We're going to trade this day off, so we're going to hit the drop down, go to Shift Trade Off. We're going to come down to the Check for Issues. At this point, it's going to check to see if there's any issues, and he comes back with a couple of them. First, it says this code needs to have a cover person. Notice that the cover person, who's going to be working for him this day. Well, we're just going to go ahead and we're going to select Mr. Gabbert. All right. We're going to check for issues to make sure that goes away. Once it comes back, and if Mr. Gabbert's okay, it shows that this will need to have a cover person, and we need to give him a code, which is Shift to Trade Working. All right. And while we're here, we might go ahead and we can just add a note in here because we know Mr. Gabbert's going to be working. And what day you will be working for him, I will work for Gabbert. 1/22/2014. All right, we're going to check for issues at this point, and we should come back without any issues. Everything should be good. All right, the only two things you see, there's not a red, it's just a cautionary. It shows two different colors. The red, it says that the top portion of this, the code will need to be approved. So for Paul Paramedic, it will need to be approved. And that the code for the person that is on the bottom receiving this, the cover person, is in blue, so this will need to be approved. So both sides of this trade for this one day will need to be approved. So now we can come down and we can save it, and it will go on as a colored skittle, a yellow one, onto Paul's calendar. It says STO, Shift Trade Off. All right. Now, he's just trading off his day, so now Mr. Gabbert will need to go on and do his shift trade off for the 22nd. So both sides of a trade, each person needs to do a computer entry. All right? So PTO request, he's going to request PTO for this day. Again, click on the bar, add. Once it opens up to the drop-down, you're going to go to PTO requested. It's going to default to what your shift hours are. You're going to come down, check for any issues with this. As long as you have the available PTO to take, all this says that the issues that come up is a yellow. It's just a caution so you know that there needs to be approved. Once we do that, we hit save. And this will save on your calendar as another schedule. So now, again, with the asterisk in front of it, it's going to need to be approved. All right? That's pretty much how to enter everything onto your calendar. Other things that you have over in this navigation area over to the left, all right, if you have a calendar list view, all right, it will take everything that is on your calendar and put it into Word. You have a print box up here at the top, a print button. If your computer is hooked up to a printer, if you click on this button, it will print exactly as it looks here. It really don't say a lot of things, especially if you have shifts that are setting here. You have no idea what time those shifts are. And if you click and print this calendar from this button, it will be just like this. If it's a black and white printer, it'll be shades of gray. If it is a color, it will just be a calendar with colored boxes on it. So that's where this calendar list view comes in. So when you're looking at your calendar and you would like to have a copy of your calendar, we're going to get to January here, and up here on the top there's a print button, and it will print exactly what's on your screen. So if you print, you will have just boxes within your calendar days that really will not tell you a lot of information. So we will go to this calendar list view. When you click this calendar list view and you are in on your calendar, you have these little boxes up here that you can check to pull up different things. So we're just going to check all of them. So we will see that our paydays, it will show you when the paydays are. So we're going to go on over to January where we have some information. And we can click our button to the side, or we can click the calendar and it will be able to select the different days. Notice the information pops up for the different shifts that's available. And then when we get to January, where we have our shifts that are located on the calendar, we see that this is a regular working shift. This is a holiday. We're going to end up working this day and we'll get holiday pay. This is available, available, available. And depending on what you don't want to see, you don't want to see the vacancies in there. You don't want to see any notes in there. You don't want to see any holidays in there. Anything that you don't want to see, you can take out. Well, you can take out the pay period. All right. That's just our regular shift. These are any additional codes that have been added in. And if you like what you see here, then you can go ahead and hit the print button, and this will print out exactly as it is shown on your screen. All right. So now any of these changes that have occurred in your schedule, this contact log that you saw when you first logged in will show that you have changes in your schedule. So on the 7th, this is a shift trade-off. This is a shift trade working. This is PTO that has been placed onto your calendar. And this is a PTO that you found coverage that had been placed on your calendar. The ones that we have entered that have the asterisks on them will not show on this until they are approved. So that will make a change in your calendar. Notice over here that there's a box that says action. And there is an accept. The accept only says that you have noticed that you are working. This does not approve or deny. It just says that this is a notification and you know that you are supposed to work this day. Once you hit this accept, a note is sent to the scheduling roster, and the scheduler will know that you have accepted the shift trade-off. it will be removed from your contact log. And so now we have 3. All right, so we're just going to go ahead and accept all of these as we go down. Or we'll just accept a couple. All right, so then if you wanted to see the roster, you can click on the roster. Once you click on the roster itself, you'll be able to see several different things. You'll be able to see on whatever day you're looking at from up here. We can look at the 15th. We can look at the next month by hitting the arrow. And we can see the medic and the EMT are working. So if there are open positions, such as you'd like to work with a particular medic or EMT, you can see that on the 973B, who's working those positions. All right. Your colored boxes also show on the roster. This is another code for a regular extra shift. So this would be outside your normal, or part-timers would be assigned this regular extra shift. And it will be from midnight to 12 for this one. This is an 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. for 12 hours. So looking at the roster. You also have an open shift roster that comes up. Excuse me. This will show only open positions. So that if you're only looking for how many open positions on whatever day it is, you can decide that you want to see the open positions. So we will go over and see how long it takes us to find some open positions. We'll go over to November 16th. This goes one day at a time. So click on Halloween, see if there's anything. And right now in October, it looks like everything seems to be filled. That there's not really any open shifts, nothing to display. But if there were any open shifts, they would be listed just like a roster, but they would have no names inside of it. All right. There's the history over here on the left. This will show anything that has changed in your calendar, and you can go back for however many months, years, by changing the date and look at different things. And this is a test person that I'm in, so there may not be a lot of history on him. All right, so this is some history that was on this person when it was created. Who put it in last? The person himself. All paramedic entered this, and then the scheduler entered or touched it last here. So, was placing them on shift. All right, and then this duty roster down here at the bottom is just a very short, sweet, concise roster. Where you saw the other one was a very difficult to read. This one will tell you exactly who's on what shift and what time they're working. So it may be a little bit easier for you to read. If you want to print this out, it comes out very small when you print it out. And again, anything that you print using this print button will print exactly as it is on the screen. But you see, it's a lot nicer to read and understand. All right. You have down here at the bottom, you have personal information, which would be your contact log. You have any reports that you might have, any accruals. Once your PTO is coming in and you're looking at your PTO, you can see how much you have at that particular date, how many PTO that you've taken, how many is remaining, how many in period. And then any scheduling. It just breaks down and goes back to your calendar. Your calendar lists you roster and your duty roster. All right, once your codes have been added onto your calendar, and maybe you've made a mistake or you have decided not to be available for a day, anytime you can remove your availability, as long as you've not been assigned to a position already. If you were assigned to a position, you would have another color square, sort of a red color square underneath this box. All you have to do is just click on the available, go to remove, and at this point, as long as there's not an available shift, you know that you've not been added onto an open shift, you will be able to remove any available code that you have added in. Once the removal box pops open, it shows that there are no issues, and you can hit the remove button. Once you hit the remove button, then the bright green box will be removed from your calendar. And it's removed. If you decide that you no longer want to do a shift trade or take PTO or a PTO FAB coverage, all of these codes have already been approved, and if you click on it, you'll still get the same prompt, but when it opens up, it will tell you that you don't have significant authority and you cannot remove this to call your supervisor. You will not be able to click on the box. So once it's already been approved, you cannot remove the code. But any of the ones that still have the asterisk, you can remove it at any time. No issues found, remove, or any of your availability that you do not have a position assigned to you. And it has been removed for your PTO request. So if you have any questions, please contact your scheduler or your supervisor, and they will be able to assist you with any questions that you may have. Thank you for joining.